So if your Consew 206rb, anywhere in the 1 through 5 model, is not picking up the lower thread or won't sew, there's a good chance that your rotary hook timing is off. There are a couple things you want to check first though before you go adjusting your timing. First and foremost, make sure that your safety clutch has not been tripped. In that case, when you rotate the hand wheel, the hook won't even rotate, so there's no chance of sewing. Just drop down to the description box or click on the on-screen link and you'll find my video on resetting a safety clutch. But if the clutch looks okay, just make sure that you insert a new needle that's the correct size and the correct system. So for the Consew 206rb, you're looking at a very common industrial needle system. It's a 135/17, or if you're using a leather point needle, it's called a 135/16. And for the purposes of testing your machine, I really recommend using a size 20 needle with 92 weight thread. There can be some confusion when adjusting the timing of your machine. Hey, is this a rotary hook issue or is this just the height of my needle bar? And to tell for sure, the hook should pass 1/16 above the eye of the needle. If it doesn't, look for my video on adjusting needle bar height. Remove your slide plate, cover plate, and feed dogs to have a look at the timing. Under the machine now, some people may advise to loosen these screws next to the hook, and that's not correct because one of these screws actually sits in a groove, and if you don't return that to the groove, your machine will go out of timing frequently. Instead, you want to locate the safety clutch and loosen the 3 screws next to it. So loosen these screws up a bit, rotate the shaft. There's 3 of them. Once those are somewhat loosened, you'll be able to rotate the hook independent of the shaft and reset the timing. To adjust your machine, you'll need to define the timing position. Now that's when the needle is at the bottom dead center, and then you continue rotating the hand wheel towards you slightly until the needle raises 3/32 of an inch from the bottom. That's what we call the timing position. And to get a little more accurate with that, find something that matches the bottom of the stroke of the needle bar, and then use a spacer. Roll the hand wheel towards you until that just reaches the top of the spacer. That's your timing position. And from there, just rotate the hook until it aligns with the needle. Right there is where your machine is in time. Once the hook is positioned correctly, go ahead and start snugging down those 3 screws. You'll want to take the belt off the hand wheel before you tip it back because that can actually rotate it slightly out of position. Carefully tighten one of the screws and recheck your hook to make sure your settings didn't change. And if it looks good, go ahead and tighten up the other 2 screws. Just a couple more things to consider before you button your machine up. Make sure that the hook passes as close to the needle as possible without actually contacting it. And then in terms of your needle bar height, the hook should pass 1/16 above the eye of the needle. Looks great here. No need to crank down the screws on the feed dog, just snug will do. All right, well hopefully you can get the timing sorted on your machine and get back to sewing. Do remember to drop down to the description box. You'll find all my video resources there, as well as links to the latest pricing on the current version of this machine, which is the 206rb5. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next one.